Okay, let's go through some dimensions. Length is about 59 inches. Width is a little over 12¼ inch wide at the deck. About 24 inches at the handlebar. Height is about 47 inches. Platform height, the deck height, which is a key point, is about 14 inches. Seat height is about 33 inches. And center of post to handlebar post is about 18 inches or so. Tires are 16 inches. Rims are about 10 inches diameter. Tire width is about not quite 3 inches, maybe 2 3/4 inches. Length of bike is about 56 inches. That's closed. That's in its closed configuration. And the height is roughly 24 or 25 inches, maybe 24 inches high. 25 inches with the brakes. The seat is very easy to install. You just go ahead and slide it into the slot and make sure it's seated. Install your cotter pin and hook up your connection. And you're done. What I don't like about the seat is the fact that it wobbles a little bit. When I'm traveling at high speed, I can actually feel this thing shifting back and forth, and it's an uncomfortable feeling. I'm thinking of actually drilling a couple more holes in here and bolting it tighter so that the seat doesn't move as much. Let's go over the displays and control buttons on the handlebar. Starting on the left, we have the red button that controls the headlights. The green button is for the beeping of the horn. The LCD display shows your speed and distance information. I have a link for the speedometer instructions in the YouTube description below. On the right side of the handlebar is the LCD battery level indicator. Below the LCD is a red button that controls the 2-level throttle. When the button is depressed, as shown in this photo, the throttle is engaged in the lower power level, what I refer to as the economy or eco mode. It limits the speed of the scooter to about 20 miles per hour on flat ground. If the button is disengaged by pressing it again, then the throttle is restored to full power. Please note that this is a simple toggle switch. Press it on, press it off. You do not need to constantly depress it. One of the things I don't particularly like is I don't put the deck. It's 3/8 inch plywood, about a foot wide and about 20 inches long. It's seems rather flimsy. It doesn't look like it's going to wear very well. I don't like the Velcro tab closures. It shifts around too much. I think it's going to wear on the nuts and bolts, and eventually this thing's going to be loose with all the pressure that you put on your weight on every time you drive it or ride it. The battery compartment is ample. You can see how much space there is. It's like you could fit another half a battery in there. This is a 13 amp hour 60 volt battery, lithium ion. So you could put a couple more batteries in there and stretch your mileage if you really wanted to. I don't like the holes in the bottom. It's, I guess, there for aeration, but it lets the water in. And besides which, the design of this thing, which is a metal container, it acts like a radiator. I would think that it would draw the heat away. This cover that is a kind of nice bag for the battery. It's pretty, but I'm not sure it's functional. It acts like insulation. It traps the heat of the lithium-ion batteries, so I don't see the purpose of the holes. So one of my plans is to cover those up. Again, I want to keep the metal conductivity, so maybe some sort of metal plate underneath. The other thing I want to show you is there's this I don't know if you can see that, but you can see between the plates. It's not a continuous weld. It's even worse on this side. So again, I plan on putting some silicone rubber in this thing to make it more watertight. And lastly, I don't care for the fact that this is not a lockable cover. It's just there by friction. Somebody could steal the battery, and you know the battery is very expensive. So maybe I can drill a hole here or on the side and put a lock. There's plenty of space for a hole, so that's one thought. But in any case, those are some things that could be improved on this scooter. I included a few pictures of how I transport the scooter. You'll notice that this is a pretty tight fit in the bed of my Toyota Tacoma extra cab pickup truck. There's a couple of inches to spare between the scooter handlebar and the truck bed wall. And there's a couple of inches to spare between the back of the rear tire and the tailgate. I load the scooter by pushing it up a ramp, one of a pair that I have on hand to load and unload my lawnmower. I added a couple of items to the basic scooter. First of all, there's the rearview mirror, which is desperately needed on this scooter. And I added an auxiliary flashlight to help out with night visibility. It's just bungee corded and rubber banded on, and that's sufficient for now. I also bought this water bottle holder, which I had originally intended on mounting it on the post here, but I found that the space was too restrictive. It just was too cramped, so I decided not to put it on. Another thing that I added to the scooter was a device mount. I use it to hold my cell phone. The photo shows the app I loaded to gauge speed. I made one more modification, which was the seat post, which the directions or instructions said to install with a narrow portion facing front. Well, I reversed the direction. I switched around the tail light, switched around the seat post so that it oriented correctly. There's no problem with the wiring. The wiring fits just fine. The reason was that I did that was because simply by pulling the cotter pin out, I can now lift the deck. And why did I want to do that? It's so that I can take advantage of the storage space. So my scooter lock and chain that I was wondering what I was going to do with it, which was I going to wrap it around the posts or carry it on the handlebar or put it in a backpack? Well, there's now a very easy place to store it. And you probably didn't even notice that I had done that before I told you. In these videos, I've been using this particular helmet, which is my old bike helmet. I've got my flashing warning light that I've installed on the back, which is, I think, good enough for what I'm doing right now. And this is what I had bought on the internet, which is a CPSC approved helmet. It's got a nice magnetic visor that clips into place by magnets. I kind of don't like it, so I'm thinking of giving it to my son, even though this thing is CPSC approved. And my bike helmet is not CPSC approved. But this has got a nice flashing lights also. And constant on to turn it off. Okay, so again, I've got a link to this in my description.